And welcome back. So on this episode, I want to work a little bit on the build-up here. And one thing, one idea I already had was to take the hi-hats and sort of copy them over here and add them to the build-up. As you can see, I have everything frozen right now because I don't want any CPU dropouts due to recording. But for right now, just going to unfreeze the tracks that I'm working with. So I'm going to unfreeze these hats here. And I've already got the pattern copied over here, but I just have it muted. So I'm going to unmute that. Okay. Now, if we take a listen. Okay, so right away you're going to notice they're way too loud, they're way too noticeable. So we're going to have to do a little bit of automation here. So let's go ahead and grab a utility, drag that bad boy in here, and automate the volume knob. And we're just going to make a point here at the end and a point here before it starts. And then another point on both sides. Just bring that little section down. And then what we might do is automate it so that it gets a little bit louder as it progresses. So let's listen to what that sounds like. Okay, that sounds a lot better. Let's do the same thing for the other hi-hat we have in here. Oh, by the way, Nate's here.
Yeah, I was gonna say something. I was actually gonna comment on the fact that do you hold something when you are doing the automation to get it both points to go down equally?
No, what you do is when you hover over a point, you move just that point. If you hover over a line segment, it'll highlight the line segment, and then you can just drag the whole line between 2
love
points.
Live, and you got that, and so many programs.
Yeah.
So many programs.
It has its ups and downs, but yeah, there's a lot of intuitive stuff that Live really nails.
Every time I try to do that in other programs, it's like, I'll just make a skateboard ramp. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, it tries to like curve it.
Yeah, it tries to, yeah.
Actually, Live didn't even have curved automation until 9,
okay.
Which just came out like half a year ago.
Sweet. So, oh, wait, yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, that was pretty bullshit.
It's really a new feature? It's kind of strange.
Yeah, I know. Considering that like Fruity Loops had it for ever, yeah. It's pretty surprising that it took them this long. All right, so I got my left speaker hi-hats in here. Instead of redoing the whole automation, I can just copy the one that's already there, and we'll copy over the automation as well. So bam. Now one thing I might want to do is just make this one just a bit quieter. This is a little more noticeable since it's in the lower register. And everything's kind of low passed here. Okay, it definitely helps round out some of the higher spectrum. Oh, somebody's getting arrested outside. Okay, so that's good. Now we just need to do some more stuff to kind of just fill it out more. One thing I might consider doing is maybe making a more subtle white noise and dropping it right here where the hi-hats come in. because there is a very faint crash if you hear. But I feel like it needs like a very subtle sweep or something too. So I'm gonna unfreeze this. See if I can put that in here. And then I'll probably just make it really quiet. That's not really quiet. Much more quiet. Still very loud. I'm almost
set to minus infinity and it should be good.
Okay, so that has the right effect, but I want it to last longer. So what I'm going to do is just make my own. So let's go ahead and Control-Shift-T to make a new MIDI track. And I'm just going to make a really quick white noise and massive.
That's a really quick. Hopefully it doesn't hate it.
Wow, that was the fastest massive has ever loaded up.
That was the opposite of hate it. It's like, I love it.
I'm actually going to use bright noise because that has more of an emphasis on like the 10K area. Especially when you turn the color all the way up. Okay, now let's just drag a MIDI clip in here. Doesn't matter what note I use because we're working with noise. And one thing you got to remember to do right off the bat is go into the amp envelope and just make it a flat brick. Because we don't want like an attack on the noise. It doesn't need to be like, we just want it to go and stay at a constant volume and then control the volume via automation. That being said, let's drag utility in here so we can automate that. Let's also grab a auto filter.
God, that would be a pain in the ass to try to like get it to be in time and massive. The attack to hold out, the sustain to be like the right sustain.
Yeah, you don't want that. Let's just get everything above like 500. Okay. This is probably going to be extremely loud, so I'm just going to turn it down right off the bat. All right, well, one thing we didn't do is turn off the oscillators. Much better. Still very loud. Okay, that is much closer to what we want. Another thing we can do is grab the color knob and automate that, as opposed to just the auto filter. Have that go down.
Soda.
Pretty much. Yeah, if you ran that through a little distortion.
Can we have our money now? You know, soda brand.
Yeah, generic funding from
Coke.
Coke. It's Coke.
We enjoy happiness. That's not what they're doing nowadays. They're like, we enjoy Brandon or Stephanie or Mike or Carl.
Share a Coke with
Share.
Friend.
Share a Coke with Share.
I like the one that just says friend.
Yeah.
That's good.
I see what they did
As
there.
it like, I don't remember the name. My friend has a very obscure name. I didn't feel like looking for it.
No, that's is not gonna be printed.
Yeah.
It's like the one person who has that name. It's like, oh, I don't know anybody who has a name like Merrick. Sorry, Merrick. The only name I could think of was that one. You're the only Merrick I've met, and I haven't seen you in 20 years.
All right, so what I've got going on here is I've got the filter coming down just slightly. What I'm doing with the volume automation is I'm actually starting it lower and having it kind of sweep up, because right here is where the crash hits, and then this is going to kind of come in and then sweep downwards. So let's just take a listen to what that sounds like. Okay, that's not bad. Might have it start a little quieter. Oops. I might actually start the color knob low as well. Kind of copy the volume automation. Right, that sounds good. Now, what we can do is copy this over and then try and reverse the automation a little bit so that it starts adding to the build-up right before the drop.
There's that curve.
Yeah.
Happy little Tony Hawk ramp. I can't believe the other ones didn't have it. I didn't recognize
Ableton,
that.
well, 8 came out in 2008, so
I guess they can't have everything because if they their first one has everything, they're like, how do we have a 2?
well, here's the thing. Why can't they just patch it like they do
True.
with video games? You know?
Oh, I got it. I know why. Nate pulls out his wallet. That's the sound of money. It's money. That's why. That's why I did it.
Seems like such a simple thing to code, but what do I know? Nothing.
It's also like a super expensive program. So. I'm just kidding. It's a very great program. We love it.
Please sponsor us.
It's a perfect price.
What time are we at? Oh, okay. All right, cool. So, yeah, I couldn't even really hear this happening, so I bumped it up a couple more dB at the end here. Let's go ahead. Let's do it one more time. Okay, yeah, that definitely helps. Cool. So those are 2 little things we did to help out this section. I don't think we're done just yet. I think we need some more atmospheric elements, and we'll tackle that on the next episode. So I'll see you then.